Sarah Ferguson has just blindsided the entire royal family with a sudden unannounced move into the heart of London. For 30 years, she managed to quietly survive within the royal inner circle, defying every conventional palace rule. But behind closed doors, a massive shift has just occurred, and she has packed her bags for a destination no one saw coming. What exactly forced her to abandon her long-held sanctuary? And why are senior royals desperately scrambling behind the scenes to contain the fallout? This sudden relocation changes absolutely everything for the future of the monarchy. Make sure to watch this video all the way to the end, because we are breaking down the shocking hidden motives behind this urban move, and trust me, the final revelation involves a high-stakes palace gamble that changes the game entirely. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on the most dramatic royal secrets and investigative updates, hit that subscribe button right now and join our community. We would love to have you along for the journey. An all-out family war has officially exploded, and Sarah Ferguson finds herself trapped right at the epicenter. For years, she carefully maintained a delicate balancing act, keeping her distance from the worst of the media storm. But according to sources, her unexpected shift into the heart of London has shattered any illusion of peace, triggering an intense conflict that is tearing what remains of her inner circle apart. Rumors indicate that her former husband, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, is absolutely furious with her recent decisions. He allegedly feels completely abandoned and left to rot after being pushed out to private accommodation on the Sandringham estate earlier this year. But the real battle isn't about property, it is about the future of their children. Insiders say that Andrew has openly accused Sarah of turning their daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, completely against him. It is claimed he is telling anyone who will listen that she has poisoned their minds, convincing them that their only hope of survival is to sever ties with him entirely. For Beatrice and Eugenie, the stakes could not possibly be higher. Reports suggest the sisters are under an immense amount of strain as they desperately try to distance themselves from their father's ongoing legal shadow. They are facing a brutal reality, knowing that one wrong move could cost them everything they have left. The strategy was supposed to protect their standing, but it appears to have backfired completely. Rumors indicate that senior royals are not buying this sudden display of distance, and the consequences have been swift and harsh. Observers noted that the sisters were completely missing from major high-profile family gatherings recently, including a total absence after the first few days of Royal Ascot. It is believed that despite their best efforts to stay in the good graces of King Charles and Prince William, the family is being systematically iced out of the monarchy's long-term plans. Sarah now faces the ultimate maternal nightmare, watching her daughters pay a devastating price for controversies they had absolutely nothing to do with. And as the pressure becomes too much to bear, she is reportedly preparing to unleash a retaliatory option that the institution is absolutely desperate to stop. Sarah Ferguson has allegedly placed a highly controversial price tag on her absolute silence. Reports suggest that she is quietly demanding a lifetime financial safety net from the institution, seeking what insiders describe as a nice pension. For years, she has walked a precarious financial tightrope, but her sudden shift to London has accelerated her timeline. Rumors indicate she is attempting to leverage the constant threat of a massive, explosive television interview to force the palace into a corner. By dropping subtle hints that she could easily sit down for a tell-all chat about the deep controversies involving her family, she has effectively given senior royals a terrifying ultimatum: fund her lifestyle or prepare for a global media disaster. But the palace's reaction to this alleged financial pressure has been an absolute brick wall. Reports suggest that King Charles and Prince William are entirely united, flatly refusing to give in to what looks like a desperate gamble. According to sources, senior royals have completely run out of patience with the constant reputational damage flowing from the York family fold. Instead of pulling out a checkbook, the Crown allegedly struck back with an unprecedented countermove. Rumors indicate that the palace launched an aggressive demand for a complete, thorough financial review of her daughter's private assets to figure out where their funding actually comes from. This unexpected retaliation has thrown Sarah's entire plan into pure chaos. It is claimed that Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie completely blocked the financial probe, entirely refusing to cooperate with the palace's auditors. This defensive move has only heightened the immense tension between the two factions, sending signals that something massive is being hidden from public view. Senior royals reportedly view this lack of cooperation as a direct act of defiance, leading to a visible distancing at major events. Sarah's gamble for financial security has effectively triggered a cold war with the monarchy, leaving her completely exposed. With the palace cutting off her options and demanding answers she refuses to give, she is being backed into a dangerous corner where her only remaining play is to risk everything on a final, definitive strike. Sarah Ferguson is allegedly preparing to play her absolute highest stakes card yet, and it involves a multi-million-pound secret that has completely upended the publishing world. Reports suggest that during recent major literary gatherings like the London Book Fair, whispers started circulating that she was actively shopping around a definitive tell-all book deal. For decades, she has been a keeper of the monarchy's most sensitive secrets, observing the inner workings of the institution from a frontline perspective. Now, facing an increasingly bleak financial future and a total lack of palace support, she appears ready to monetize that knowledge. Insiders say that major global publishers were initially putting massive figures on the table, eager to secure what could be the most explosive memoir since Prince Harry's Spare. But this potential literary project has immediately triggered a fierce retaliation from within her own camp and major international setbacks. Rumors indicate that her former husband, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, has already threatened to unleash a massive legal team if any book moving forward compromises what remains of his status. He is reportedly terrified of what a totally unrestricted account of their shared past might reveal to the world. According to sources, he has warned her that he will take every legal step necessary to block any project unless he is given complete veto power over the manuscript. This fierce ultimatum has turned a long-standing alliance into a bitter standoff, drawing a clear line between the former couple. To make matters worse, her grand plans for an international publishing comeback have recently imploded under the heavy weight of past controversies. Reports indicate that major publishing houses in the United States completely snubbed her proposed $2 million book deal, handing her a humiliating string of rejections. Insiders claim American publishers are deeply hesitant to be seen enabling her to cash in on past scandals that have torn her family apart. Even her lucrative children's book projects have hit a brick wall, with thousands of copies of her latest title, Flora and Fern, Kindness Along the Way, reportedly pulled from publication schedules entirely. Yet, the collapse of these traditional book deals has only forced Sarah to pivot to an even more public alternative. It is claimed that she is currently setting her sights on a secret, highly lucrative $1.7 million tell-all interview deal alongside a potential £1.3 million documentary project. She is essentially holding a match to decades of carefully guarded royal history, daring anyone to try and stop her from speaking out. She feels she has absolutely nothing left to lose after losing her official titles and being forced out of her traditional routine. And as this high-stakes standoff reaches a breaking point, the true toll of this chaotic survival strategy is becoming visible in her rapidly collapsing private life. Sarah Ferguson's carefully constructed world has completely collapsed, leaving her in a position of utter isolation. For decades, she managed to maintain the lifestyle of an active royal, using her historic titles and public standing to anchor her identity. But reports suggest that this safety net has been permanently shredded. Experts indicate that she has effectively run out of chances after the public release of highly damaging files detailing past associations completely destroyed her remaining credibility. A prominent charity insider recently went on the record, stating that no reputable global business or organization is willing to be associated with her name anymore. Her once lucrative public speaking career and global patronages have completely evaporated overnight. The financial fallout from this social banishment has been swift and utterly devastating. Reports suggest that her ambitious multi-million-pound media projects and international television deals have been systematically cancelled or pulled from development schedules entirely. With traditional income streams drying up and no independent wealth to fall back on, she has been forced to face a harsh, unyielding reality. Rumors indicate she is now trapped in a genuine personal crisis, completely cut off from the palace funding that kept her afloat for 30 years. Observers say she is no longer fighting for a place at the royal table. She is quite literally fighting for an independent future before her financial reserves empty completely. But the most painful sting of this unraveling life isn't the loss of luxury. It is the complete breakdown of her family support system. According to sources, she is facing this crisis entirely alone, as her daughters are physically and socially unable to offer her a lifeline. Princess Beatrice is deeply settled into her own private life in the Cotswolds, while Princess Eugenie splits her time between London and a secure coastal estate in Portugal. Insiders claim that both sisters are working tirelessly to protect their own families and fragile standing from the ongoing storm, meaning they cannot afford to absorb their mother's reputational damage. Sarah is now a woman completely adrift, forced to watch her family tree fragment as she is left to pick up the pieces of a ruined legacy. And as she realizes there is no rescue party coming, her final desperate maneuvers are setting the stage for a spectacular concluding showdown. Sarah Ferguson's sudden shift to London is far more than a simple change of scenery. It is a calculated, high-stakes survival strategy. Stripped of her historic security blanket, cut off from traditional palace funds and facing total professional isolation, she has been backed into an incredibly dangerous corner. This urban relocation represents her final stand to rebuild an independent life and protect her daughters from being permanently dragged under by a collapsing family legacy. Yet, with senior royals entirely holding a firm line, her demands for financial backing hitting a total brick wall, and major international publishers turning away from her proposed deals, her options have narrowed to a razor-thin margin. What remains to be seen is whether this move will provide the launchpad she desperately needs to orchestrate a dramatic public return, or if it marks the final, quiet curtain call for an entire era of the monarchy. She is essentially playing a massive game of chess against an institution that has mastered the art of freezing out liabilities. If the palace continues to demand financial transparency while offering absolutely zero support, she may eventually find herself with only one card left to play, a definitive, unrestricted tell-all that could spark a media storm the likes of which we haven't seen in decades. The lines have been clearly drawn, the pieces are entirely in motion, and the true cost of this bitter family divide is about to be laid bare for the entire world to see. What do you think? Is Sarah Ferguson right to believe that Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are paying a devastating, unfair price for controversies they had absolutely nothing to do with? Or do you think senior royals are entirely justified in completely cutting ties to protect the long-term future of the monarchy? Will her sudden London relocation successfully put her back at the centre of the public conversation, or will she remain entirely on the outside looking in? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. I read every single one of them, and I am dying to know what you think about this entire situation. If you want to make sure you never miss the absolute latest palace developments, high-stakes investigative updates, and deeply researched royal secrets, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Make sure to turn on all notifications so you are always the very first to know when our next video drops. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and we will see you in the next one.